Welcome to Two Idiot Gamers. I'm AC Skulky, your host this time, and I'm joined once more, as always, by Chris the Wiz.
Hey, it's me, it's Chris the Wiz TV. How are you guys doing? Hope everyone's having a lovely, lovely Thursday.
Well, whenever you end up watching this, it'll be a Thursday,
Oh yeah,
Friday,
true.
Saturday,
Yeah,
Sunday. Could be
we're
a
recording
Monday.
this on a Thursday.
Yeah, on my behalf, it's a cold Thursday. On Chris's behalf, it's probably boiling, but with a hint of hurricane.
Actually, no hurricanes been hitting where I'm at. It's like 76 degrees right now. It's not that bad.
That sounds really pleasant. I miss 76 degrees. That sounds nice.
What's the temp where you're at right now?
It is presently okay. We're hopping stuff. This is what happens when you talk cross international borders. One will be like 76, and then the other will be 20, but it's warm, and everyone will be like, "What the fuck?"
Do you guys use Fahrenheit over there?
No, we use Celsius.
Oh, okay.
Like everyone else, we use Celsius.
So it's 20 Celsius?
Oh no, I'm waiting for my weather app to update. It is presently a balmy 22 degrees Celsius. However, my office, which doesn't get enough sun, is a balmy 15 degrees frigid.
Okay, so 15 Celsius would be 59 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, not the warm. It's not like the coldest ever, but it's probably cold for a Texan.
Dude, I have no idea why some people use Celsius and some people just use Fahrenheit. Why don't we all just pick one?
Well,
is it really is it that complicated?
It's more Celsius seems linked to the metric system, so a lot of countries that use metric system use Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
And then countries that use imperial, which is really funny, the Americans use something called imperial system, and then they're like, oh, we're the true democratic, but we're going to use the imperial system. Because we're totally not imperialistic at all. But the jokes aside, I think it's just related to that, like Fahrenheit's linked to measuring things in feet and inches, and Celsius is just...
Yeah, I just think it's bull.
It's more like,
yeah,
I actually know what it is.
Fahrenheit
is, because 100 degrees Fahrenheit, if I remember correctly, is supposed to be like average human body temperature, which is a little bit above. So, and then Celsius goes off, 0 is freezing point for water.
Yeah.
So everything above that and below that, it's all about the freezing point of 0. So if you get 100 degrees Celsius, you are dying. You are busy baking in an oven for some reason.
Obviously. Alright. So, what have you been playing this week, AC?
This week?
What have you been up to?
Mostly Yakuza. And editing together a short film, and watching The Acolyte, and watching The Boys, and watching Kamen Rider Zero.
Kamen Rider Zero? What's that one about?
So Zero One. Zero One is the first of the Reiwa series. So it's the ones that came out after 2019 when Japan got a new emperor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about robots, AI robots that are becoming more humanoid, and then 2 satellites that control that kind of act as their clouds, but one of them wants to eradicate humanity, and the other one's just like we'll be helpful and help people. But it's utterly arbitrary which one.
Is it related to Shin Kamen Rider at all, or is it just like it's a completely different thing?
So Shin Kamen Rider is kind of a retelling of the original of Ichigo, or the very first Kamen Rider back in the day. But it's also kind of its own thing, because the original actor who played Shin Kamen Rider does appear in some of the Heisei era Kamen Rider shows. Like he appeared in Kamen Rider Ghost. He appeared in, I think he also appeared in a few of like decade stuff where you're just like, why is these 60s guys just randomly pitching? There's a bunch of old men kicking the shit out of young men. What the fuck is going on? It's really funny. I don't understand it, but I'm here for it. It's really funny.
There's like it kind of reminds me of like the team up episodes of like Power Rangers where they get like Mighty Morphin with Dino Thunder and like space and time.
Yeah, it's kind of like
all
that.
In like one canyon, and they all like fight the evil dudes.
It's usually one canyon because they get it. Oh! Here's the other fun thing that Kamen Rider does. It crosses over fairly often in like movies and stuff with Sentai, Super Sentai.
Right, yeah, which is basically
you'll get, it's what Power Rangers came from.
Yeah.
It's like, it's also where some of the, like, combat footage came from and stuff. It's really funny to know that, like, oh look, they're just the same shit. Like, Kamen Rider, you'll see stuff of, like, X-Aid running alongside, I don't know, oh fuck, you'll have to look up, because X-Aid was the Power Ranger, was the rider in 2016. You'll have to look up which Rangers were around, which Power Rangers were. From, like, the same era where... Or actually, no, it would have been the next era, because they would have filmed their stuff, like, afterwards. After the series came out, and they went, oh, we like those costumes, we'll use those for it. But they were, like, the Space Ranger? There was Space Sentai. So, the Space... I don't know if they became the Space Rangers, but they were, like, Space Pirate Sentai.
Yeah, there was Power Rangers in space. I can't... Let me see. Power Rangers... Space. I think it was just called Power Rangers in Space. Yeah, that's it. This Power Rangers in Space.
It's kind of a...
It had a cool intro.
It's kind of a dull name, because I've heard, like, Megaforce and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, there's, like, Lost Galaxy, Turbo, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force.
And then just in space.
The ones that I grew up on were the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Dino Thunder, SPD, and Mystic Storm, which is, like, the magic one.
It's really funny, because my cousins kind of watched Power Rangers as a kid, but I never did. I didn't get any of that stuff. I got into Kamen Rider recently as an adult, but, like, I don't know, I could never get into Power Ranger. I don't know what it was, but there's, like, a weird disconnect for me between, like, the American performances versus the Japanese performances, and I can't explain it, because it feels like the American one feels like they're trying harder to do some of the stuff that the like, say, Kamen Rider just does naturally with the way their characters act, and the Americans feels like they force it too much. So the characters come to me
like the fight scenes, or like the acting,
no,
like
the
out of
actual
suit
acting,
scenes.
the out of suit scenes, and, like, the bits that are supposed to be like the emotional impact scenes, and I watch, I'm like, why does this not be as hard as you think?
I can see that. I can remember, like, some parts of Mighty Morphin where they're just, like, they're kind of overacting a bit.
But it's also weird, because the only, like, Power Rangers thing I've watched was the newish movie from, like, 2017.
Oh, the remake?
Like, yeah, the one where they had, like, I don't know, the suits had, like, more effort put into them or something. Or they were, like, fully designed, they were fully American designed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they had, like, the visors that would open up, and they'd be able to, like, see the faces of the actors.
Yeah, although I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it when they do that to superheroes, where they just, like, constantly open up the faces, and they're like, haha! It's one of those things that, like, it annoys me with Iron Man as well, where, like, you just constantly take his helmet off, and you're like, he's a fucking... Why are you doing this? Yeah, I don't know. I have a thing with superheroes where I don't like where they're just constantly pulling off their cowls so you can see their face. I'm like, what's the fucking point of the cowl? Take the goddamn cowl off then. Don't bother in the first place. You know what I mean?
I think maybe it has to do with, like, wanting to show the actor's face more.
Probably, but it still irritates me. Because I'm like, if you want a superhero, don't cast like a giant actor whose face you want to see the whole time. You're casting a superhero. Like, Spider-Man should not be the character who's constantly pulling his fucking mask off to do anything. And that's probably why I like a lot of people like the Raimi movies, or at least in my opinion, right? Is whenever he was Spider-Man,
so many people love the Raimi movies.
But, like, when he was Spider-Man, he kept his fucking mask on the whole time. The only reason it came off was because it got literally, like, shredded. And he took it off,
that was one of the things. Point? Yeah, that was one of the things I loved about the Sam Raimi movies, is, like, when he got in fights and he got fucked up, like, his like, face, like, the suit got torn up, like, battle damage and stuff. It was super good. Like, the end of the first movie when he's fighting Green Goblin in that building.
He gets, like, and a grenade, like, explodes in his face, and it rips
and it's like half of the face is, like bare, and then half of the mask is still intact. It's so good.
Like, you go watch the new movies, right, with Tom Holland. He rips his fucking mask off all the fucking time. He goes to talk to someone, rip mask off. You're like, put the fucking mask back on, you dumb fuck. What's the point of your secret identity if every time you talk to someone you rip your mask off? I'm like, why? Stop. You've got tech and...
I'm trying to remember like the ones that I've seen of Tom Holland, and he the only times he does take his mask off is when he's like talking to Ned or like talking to someone that already knows who he is, and other times when he's just like he keeps his mask on when he's like talking to civilians or like talking to people that he doesn't want his identity to be known to.
I guess. But like my memories of it, he takes it off a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just remember him taking it off a lot.
He takes it off a lot in Infinity War, because he's like in space and not in and not on Earth. But that's when he has like the nano suit that like goes away to show his face.
I still don't like it. And it's the other thing where like characters who are in combat will take off their mask to say hi to someone and put it back on. I'm like, just leave your fucking mask on. You can say hi when you're finished doing your fucking thing. Black Panther would be my biggest fucking issue with this, where he taking his fucking helmet off to like introduce himself, then go back into the fight. I'm like, why the fuck did you take your helmet off, you dumbass?
I don't remember seeing a thing that happens like that in the Black Panther movies.
Well, he does it in the first time he appears. He like stopped in Civil War.
No, it wasn't in Civil War. He appeared in the Winter Soldier.
No, it was Civil War, I promise you. The whole thing was about Civil War. He wasn't in Winter Soldier.
Hold on, let me see.
Was he? No, it was Civil War. It was definitely Civil War, not Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, it was Civil War. I was getting them confused because I was thinking more of Civil War because his whole thing is his dad dies in the bombing that Bucky does.
But but that was in Civil War. What the fuck are you doing? Sorry, my phone just decided I'm gonna go into your chat apps, but I'm gonna play TikTok noises. My phone is possessed. I'm telling you.
Is that the same phone that dropped, or just stopped working?
Yeah. This is the phone saga of my fucking phone screen's breaking instantaneously.
So what happened? What happened with your phone?
So my original phone screen was pretty cracked, but it was working fine for ages and ages. And then one day, I like dropped it, but not like drop, more like, you know, the drop of you picked it up and you put it down, like, you know, you dropped it that little 3 centimeters, and then it just spazzed and died. So I took it the next day, got the screen replaced. It was fine for like a month, and then like last week I dropped it slightly, but not like, so like a ruler, like a school ruler length, right? It got a tiny little chip at the bottom of the screen, and then completely died instantaneously. It's just like it went black and wouldn't start up, and I was like, what in the fuck? It was a interesting time. It was frustrating because I'm like, I need this money for other things, not my fucking phone screen. That was like $500.
You just gotta get a Nokia.
I'm not getting a 3310. Fuck off.
No, like you just need a Nokia like brick phone, the old ones. Then you'll be off. Yes,
that's what a 3310 is. A 3310 is the brick phone you're thinking of, Chris.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay, I just googled it.
South Africans know. We know the power of a 3310. Don't test us.
I wonder if they just bring it back. New mobile phone based on the 3310 design was launched in 2017.
Huh. I'm gonna thunk it.
Man, I missed that design of the phone. It was just like...
All you could do was play...
It was just so simple.
You just play Snake on it, though. You just sit there and be like, Snake.
Snake was fun.
Was it though, or was it just following your tail around for 3.5 hours, being like, "I am bored, I am bored, I am bored"?
I'd love seeing how far I can get in the game with Snake.
Valid.
What else? What else have you been up to besides that? You've been playing more Yakuza, right?
Yeah, I've been playing Yakuza and I've been playing a lot of Magic, but that's just because nerd.
Where are you at in Like a Dragon?
I'm figuring out that the Soapland worker is probably, her father's probably been murked, and they're
what
bleeding
worker?
him for money. Soapland.
Oh, the Soapland. I thought you said something else.
The Soapland worker is being milked for money.
What do you think of the character so far?
Ichiban's pretty cool. I do like Ichiban. His friends are a bit weird. They're also definitely alcoholics, but that's fine. One of them has an ability where he spits fire by, he takes a swig of his drink and then spits fire at people. Like, he's a fucking alcoholic. If you tell me he's not, you lie.
Oh yeah, Nanba. Nanba's pretty cool. What
cool.
job do you have him as?
Still, Namba. I can't remember. I think he's still just a medic. I haven't changed their jobs yet because, lazy. Unfortunately, I'm a lazy bastard who can't be fucked with changing shit.
So, I would recommend you just keep him as homeless guy, because his homeless guy class is actually really, really good, with like area of effect debuffs and stuff.
Yeah, AoEs and stuff. Yeah.
Adachi, he's good as detective for right now until you get you unlock another job called like the Enforcer, where he has like a huge ass riot shield and shit.
Huh.
And Psycho, you can just keep her as either as her starting one, or you get access to an idol, which is like dedicated healing.
Huh. I haven't quite gotten to Psycho yet, but we'll see. You've revealed the character to me. It's fine. After this recording, I'll go play an unlocker. I got obsessed with the fucking go-kart minigame.
Oh right, yeah, I saw you playing that for a little bit.
Yeah, before
we started playing Resident Evil 6 yesterday.
Yeah. It was fun.
You like that more or less than Mario Kart now?
I've never played Mario Kart in my entire life.
You've never played Mario Kart at all?
Nope. Not even once.
Why not? You just never had a Wii?
I never had a Wii.
Any of the other ones?
I've never had a Nintendo system ever in my entire life.
Really?
Nope.
So what systems have you had then?
I had an Xbox 360.
Uh-huh.
And an Apple laptop. And now my PC. I did, however, have my cousin's PS1 when I was like 6.
Yeah, PS1 is good.
That was a fun system to use.
What games did you play on the PS1, if you can remember?
I played Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. I played a bunch of random shit though. It was mostly just like the Monsters Inc. games, and then like, I played a Digimon game. So I played. It was like a 2D beat 'em up, like fighter game, but it would like rotate the board when you played. I played obviously the Monsters Inc. game, which was basically like, and I played the shit out of Crash Bandicoot because, yes, why wouldn't I play Crash Bandicoot?
Crash Bandicoot, yeah.
Like, that game was sick. I love. My cousin had 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
No, he had 1 and 2, and I played the shit out of them. Those are like some of the games I badly want to play.
Yeah, I played as far as like PlayStation 1. I remember playing Metal Gear Solid, the first one. Spyro the Dragon. And I think I did play a little bit of Crash Bandicoot. But like more recently, I really got into Parappa the Rappa, which was on PlayStation 1 and PS2. And
Parappa.
Yeah, if you watch my streams,
Ah.
the starting soon music is from Parappa the Rapper 2. Some of the like the rap sections. Uh, I had let's see. I had a Sega Genesis, I think a Super Nintendo. I had a GameCube, PS1, PS2, PS3, 360, Wii. I have the PS4, 5, Xbox Series X, Switch, PC, obviously.
See, Chris has the full collection of like random consoles. I had a 360, and that was it. My collection of random consoles stopped exactly at one. Oh yeah, I also had a Nintendo. I tell a lie. I had a Nintendo DS, which the only game I had on that
me
was
too.
Pokemon. I had just Pokemon.
I had the
Platinum.
DS Lite, and then eventually I got like a 3DS.
I never
DS
got
Lite.
to the eventually part. I just was stuck with the whatever the fucking first thing I got was. I'm like, yay, this is shit.
What was shit?
Oh no, it was like a second-hand old DS, so I'm like, it doesn't even have
okay.
stylus. Ain't got shit.
Dude, the first DS when it came out was like so weird looking. Hold on, let me show you. Nintendo Switch. Yeah, it was like this. Like super, like really bulky.
How did you get such a bulky version? Like, holy shit.
But that wasn't the one I had. I had the, I think this one. But it was red. It was like this one.
Mine was just plain black. You can see it there. It was literally just that.
And then the 3DS came out.
Also, for anyone who can't see the thing, Chris is displaying all the various editions of arbitrary bullshit.
Dude, you remember? Okay, I'm showing AC a version of the DS that had like super clear, like a shell, like the old like Game Boys and all the old stuff in like the 90s and 80s had, where it was clear see-through shell. I miss
those
these.
are the clear. Yeah, they'll never do that again.
I miss these, dude.
It was
it was so cool just seeing like the insides of like the various devices.
You just see electronics going everywhere and being like, I'm gonna break that in a week.
This is what it looks like. All right. As for me, actually, I honestly can't remember sometimes what I've been up to, like playing and watching. I have to look at my video producer on my Twitch. Let's see. I played Jack and Daxter on Friday. It was a game that I played a long time ago when I was little. I don't remember it being like so high quality, but it was made by Insomniac, so what really struck me was how like fluid and how well the animation was for like the cutscenes when it came to the facial expressions. And every every time you picked up like a collectible that you needed, they do like this little animation dance that was really nice. And I even made like the comment like I should go on YouTube and like look up the various like variations of the animation because it's different each time. Like whenever you die, Daxter is like the little ferret guy. He says something different when he's like looking down at you and you're looking up at him because you die and you fall to the floor. It kind of reminded me of like the you played Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, right?
Yeah. I've played the entire Arkham collection. I've played Arkham Origins, Asylum, City, and Night.
So you know, whenever you die, you you're like greeted with like the enemy, whoever killed you. Like say like the penguin kills you, you're just looking up at him and he's looking down at you and he says something. It's like kind of like that. It was really really fun.
That does sound like fun, bud.
And then that same stream I played some Risk of Rain with fellow streamer Stella_Celestia. That was fun. Modded funness. It got so bad that at the very end of the game, my game was like running at like 5 frames a second. It was really bad to watch. But that happens when you're playing like modded Risk of Rain 2. It gets like so crazy that yeah. Then let's see. I played Zenless Zone Zero, which is the new gacha game made by Hoyo Verse, who made the like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. That is actually really fun. It's more like story focused, where you have to take on assignments to go into like the fight areas. I did like a couple roles. I got like a couple characters, and then my OBS just like decided to mess up, and my whole like PC just like locked up, and I just had to force reboot my computer. But I decided to not really stream again that day. Then we played Resident Evil 6 yesterday, which was really fun.
Yeah, that was fun. But also discovered Leon is 100% a man slut. He is a slut.
Dude, that whole stream I made so many clips from that stream. I think the one about you being accosted by the dog is gonna be like super. I'm gonna post that on TikTok, and it's gonna do really well. But the one gripe I had about it was the aiming is just like so unreliable. So with Resident Evil 6, how it works is if you're like moving your character in one direction and you move the camera behind, it's like there's like a zombie coming up behind you. Your character won't aim behind you. They'll aim in front of you, where the character
you just suck at aiming, Chris. You just can't aim for shit. I was able to hit things. It wasn't a problem. I don't know what the fuck you're complaining about. You just couldn't shoot a dog.
No. Okay, you're just not understanding me, because you're dumb.
No, I can aim. You just can't aim. That's why you're complaining.
I can aim perfectly fine. Remember, I was the one aiming.
Complaining about it.
Remember when we played RE5 and you were complaining how bad the aiming was, and I was aiming just fine?
Because the aiming system RE5 is actually stupid. You stand still and be like, haha, I'm going to aim at you while you hit me in the face with a fucking machete. Great. I love this aiming system. It doesn't get me killed at all.
I'm really surprised you didn't have any problems with like the aiming system in RE6, with how unreliable it was and how it doesn't aim with the camera, it aims with like what direction like your character is facing. You didn't have that issue whatsoever.
Not. I play Helldivers a lot more than you, and the aiming's basically the same.
I don't remember the aiming in Helldivers being like that.
In Helldivers, you can aim your reticle at things, right? But there's a little circle thing in the middle of it, which actually controls where you actually shoot, because the barrel of your gun, when you run, waves around like a fucking lunatic. So you have to actually shoot with that, not the reticle, because the reticle is just sort of there to look pretty. Doesn't aim for shit. So I was like, there's a little red dot in the middle of my aiming. If the red dot points at things, things die. Chris apparently has not discovered that this is how you aim.
I'm just saying that I didn't have as much issues aiming in Helldivers when we played as opposed to Resident Evil 6. Which tells me that the aiming system is entirely different and not the same. Otherwise, I would be complaining about the aiming in Helldivers as well. Then me and some friends played some Lethal Company modded yesterday. OBS decided to crash, so it was only like an hour and a half worth of stream, which sucked. Let's see. Other than that, I just been playing Elden Ring off stream by myself. Just exploring, killing enemies and bosses and stuff. One thing that I have been interested in is possibly getting Elden Ring for PC, because there is a thing called Graceborn, which is like a total like conversion of Elden Ring to like more like Bloodborne. So I'll show you right now, AC.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I get you. That looks pretty sick.
That's just like the intro cutscene to Bloodborne, but like right now, I'm just showing him the Graceborn alpha trailer. Like they changed like the atmosphere, and they added a lot of like weapons from Bloodborne into the game. I can just go ahead and Bloodborne inspired overhaul. I can just read off from the mod page. They added like the parrying system in Bloodborne, so if you shoot someone when they're at the height of their attack, they get parried, and you're able to follow up with a crit attack. And they changed like the design of like some of the enemies, like bosses. It's like super cool.
That's kind of cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah, see, that's Margit. You played Elden Ring, so you know like what he looks like and stuff.
Yeah.
Like how different he and like much cooler he looks.
He looks less like a complete pleb. But that's fine. Klaus.
And then there's giant furry lion with a sword, and there's Rykard. Dude, it looks so cool, man. I love it so much. I might have to give that a try.
No, why haven't you given it a try yet?
Because I don't have Elden Ring on Steam. I thought I did.
Feeble.
Because I share like a Steam library with Garo and Azure.
Does Garo or Azure have it?
No, they don't. I looked, which really sucks. I thought they did at first, but I guess I was wrong. But let me just read off what it says on the Graceborn. Installation, FAQ. Go up. What is Graceborn? Graceborn is a mod overhaul still in its infancy. Heavily inspired by Bloodborne, its main goal is to turn Elden Ring's base game into a more grim and sinister experience through multiple means. In terms of content, the alpha adds a total of 22 armor sets, 35 weapons, 17 trick weapons, and 5 firearms, followed by gameplay additions such as gun parrying, no equip load, quick steps with when locked on, perma-night, Bloodborne-style healing, etc. It also replaces the appearance of several mobs and bosses to fit in the aesthetic of the overhaul. The mod is in its very early stages of development. So far, from what I've seen, like from like the gameplay trailer, it looks so good. I'm one of the people that loved Bloodborne so much and is angry that they haven't brought it to like Steam so more people can play it, and they haven't really done anything Bloodborne related.
That is a damn shame.
I'm pretty sure we covered this on one of the other episodes where Miyazaki himself said that we know people want something like done with Bloodborne, and he wants something too. But he can't say anything or else he'll get in trouble. But, God, it was so cool how they incorporated Bloodborne and Elden Ring. Eventually,
that is pretty cool.
Eventually, one of these days, I'll get Elden Ring and get that mod going so I can try it out. I don't know if I'd stream it because maybe my computer couldn't handle it, but maybe one of these days. Alright, let me go ahead and get the docket pulled up right there.
We also need to talk about the Acolytes and the boys, because first off, this week's boys was an insane fucking episode.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but right now, just a couple of notes on like some news that happened. Nintendo pledges action over inappropriate use of its character so players not to feel uncomfortable. Alright, let's see. Quotes. At a Nintendo shareholders meeting, important context, a Mario cosplayer in Japan was accused of sending lewd images to minors. The shareholder wanted to know what Nintendo can do about incidents like this. The question was censored in the official transcript of the event, and that's why they said that. Nintendo pledges action over inappropriate use of its character so players not made to feel uncomfortable. And there's a community note. The statement was in response to a question from the shareholder meeting in regards to a Mario cosplayer in Japan accused of sending unsolicited lewd pictures to minors. The official English translation of the meeting removed this context along with some other alterations. So, at first I thought they were like getting rid of like the Rule 34 and all that stuff, but apparently not. It's just real life stuff, which is understandable.
It's only when it's like pedophiles, then they're like, yeah, no, that's a bit too yikes.
Which I can understand. Like, we just got off the heels of the Dr. Disrespect stuff, and I'm pretty sure if it was Disney, they'd want to do like the same thing. If they found out like someone cosplaying as, I don't know, Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty assaulted a kid like that.
Oh, I don't know if they can do that because Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty are technically public domain because the stories are like ancient fucking folktales and they're from like 1800, so you can't really copyright.
What's an original Disney princess then?
Brave. The girl from Brave. That's pretty good.
She's my favorite, mainly because she's Scottish and she's badass.
Merida.
Yeah, Merida's awesome.
Merida is pretty cute.
I'm also thinking of the one from the Princess and the Frog. I don't know if
that's also Princess and the Frog. It's just like a twist on the same thing, but
okay.
But you know what I mean, where it's like
twist, I know,
but it's also technically just the same thing.
Yeah, but that's the Nintendo thing. The Like a Dragon studio had a little expo thing, part of a bigger expo. I'm pretty sure I maybe sent you like some clips on TikTok about it. But they had like a whole like karaoke thing where what was it? Ichiban's voice actor sang Judgment, which was really nice. They had like people dancing on the dance floor to Friday Night. Let's see.
Of course I did.
Someone asked Ichiban's voice actor what characters he'd have in his party, and you want to take a guess on what he said?
Ichiban?
No.
Kiryu? Mm-mm. He didn't say Kiryu. That's.
So he said Nishiki from Yakuza, Nishiki from Ishin, and Nishiki from Kenzan.
So it'd just be Nishiki.
Yeah. But one thing they said, Like a Dragon Studio says fans will be surprised by its next game. Let's see. Someone, the Yakuza guy said, quote, "We can't tell you what kind of game it is, but I will tell you, you will be surprised." And he followed it up, "What is RGG cooking?" It was during the Essence of Fandom event at Anime Expo. Apparently that's what the name of the expo was. Let's see what else this article says. Oh, right, they're talking about one thing that I saw that just got announced. I think they're coming to San Diego Comic-Con, and they're gonna talk about the Like a Dragon Yakuza TV series that's gonna be releasing on Amazon Prime.
Huh. That's gonna be interesting to see when that comes out. I'm gonna have to watch it too.
Yeah.
Judge it harshly.
Judge it harshly. If it doesn't have Majima, it's gonna be trash.
Bro, anything without Majima is trash.
But honestly, I can't wait for the show. It's gonna be so fun. I really can't wait to see how they do the fight scenes. If they make them just like crazy, just like in the game.
They have to.
And how the essence moves are gonna be. All right, and the next one at the docket really surprised me because I never knew this was going to be a thing. But HoloLive was at the Dodger Stadium. They released little cards showing Pecora, Gura, and Suisse I'm guessing I know Gura and Picora. I don't know the last girl, but apparently they did like a promotion with the Dodger Stadium, and I think they even had I saw some clips rolling around on Twitter that they were singing like stuff like before the baseball game started.
Let's see. Certainly a choice.
Here, I saw it on TikTok actually. Let me show you. See.
Let me see this thing. Oh no, that is. Wow, they must have been.
It's just Gura singing the Dodgers theme song or something.
They have a theme song.
What, a drone show? Oh my god, that's so cute. And apparently, the Dodgers were losing before this, and after this, they started winning. So apparently, the VTubers made the Dodgers win that game.
They brought their animators to it. The kawaii.
Yeah.
Bro, the kawaii won the
game. Dude,
game.
if you told me that HoloLive or like any VTuber agency was gonna do like a cross promotional event with any like sports thing, I would have told you.
Good fucked.
I don't believe that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And if you told me it was gonna be like with baseball, I would have probably told you like you're lying. You're just making that up.
I mean, fair. Right, now back on to this week's pop culture. We've got to get back to this week's pop culture because there have been two episodes of a thing that both caused shit with people, especially the fucking Acolyte. Have you seen the online vitriol to the Acolyte? It's so fucking funny. Every week they're like, oh, there's witches, so this is the worst episode ever of Star Wars. And it's like...
Okay, I guess we can get sidetracked a little bit.
It's way more fun when you get some sidetracking in. If you keep everything straight online, everyone's like, formula. And now we're not being idiotic enough. We're being formulaic. Who wants a formula? This is why no one goes to watch Disney movies.
Spoilers for the newest episode of Acolyte going forward. If you don't want to get spoiled, then don't listen. Skip past it.
Skip past to somewhere. Okay. We may go on for a while because it was dumb. It was dumb. It was really fucking dumb. Well, actually, no. The episode was great. The online reaction to it was dumb as fuck. The episode itself was pretty good. Especially getting to see like a Wookiee fucking Jedi fight. Dude, you know how cool a Wookiee Jedi fighting is?
So cool. Okay. Start it off, AC. What happened in this episode?
So we got a flashback. But. So episode 3, we did the flashback from the point of view of Osha, right? So don't know what the fuck is going on because Osha's a child, has a very limited perspective. Also, she gets like locked in her room, right?
Yeah, unreliable narrator type shit.
Yeah. But now this time we get the Jedi's perspective on the same thing. Still kind of unreliable, but a bit more honest.
Mm-hmm.
And we get this vibe, man. We get the vibe that they wanted to do good. They didn't even go looking for these witches. They found them and were like, oh shit, we found a thing. We should go and investigate. Cool. They go and investigate. Indara spends the whole episode going, can we please just not? Can we just leave them alone? This is entirely unnecessary. Can we just leave them alone? Why are we, for fuck's sakes? Great.
And that's
the fuck's sakes.
For some clarification, that's the dude that drank the poison. That killed himself.
No, that's not. Indara was his master. So, Indara.
Oh wait, no, yeah. Indara was the lady at the first episode.
You're thinking of Tobin.
Yeah.
Yes. So Indara is she was the first Jedi to die in the series. Which, with this episode coming out, I'm now thinking, justice for Indara. Why the fuck did she die? That was so rude. She was like the only one who's trying to just be like, this is all unnecessary. Can we not? Can we not, please? And they're like, no, we have to. So Sol, you disappoint me, but I completely get where you're coming from. But also, you disappoint me. What have you done?
Yeah, with how like attached he was to Osha.
I mean, I get it. Where like, in lore, there's a lot of things where like, the Force. A lot of the Jedi kind of have this thing where the Force guides them to who should be their Padawan, right? And they kind of follow that, and then it tends to end in like the best pairings of Master an apprentice because they get along and the Force is like, yeah, this is right.
Yeah.
But why do you have to be so dumb?
Wait, to Soul? Wait, who's being dumb? Soul or one of the other
Soul's being
people?
dumb, but also like, okay, so Saul and Tobin are dumb. Tobin just wants to go home. That's his entire
he just wants to go home to Coruscant.
He wants to go home. He's a petulant teenager who wants to go home and is bored because he's like, I'm bored and it's kind of gross out here. Let me go home. You're like, okay, this man is a fucking child. We have to take everything he does with a grain of salt because he's a fucking child, man. Like you can't shit on a child for just being a child. You know what I mean?
Right. So one thing that really got me, when we see what happened to like the Jedi Masters in the future or like in the present, as opposed to the past, like when it came to Tobin and the Wookiee Kelnak, right?
Kelnaka, yeah.
Oh, Kelnaka. How like what happened on the planet really like scarred them. So like Kelnak is like completely secluded himself in the in like the woods, and I've seen some people say like, oh, since he used his claws in like the fight between Saul and Tobin, the Wookiees brandished him as a Mad Claw, I think it was called.
Yeah. Okay, so he would have done it to himself because there's no other Wookiees to see what happened, but because of like Wookiee culture, he would have been like, a Mad Claw. So Wookiees they do have claws, and they're meant for exclusively climbing, like within their own culture.
Yeah.
Which is then their way of being like, yeah, no, we can't allow you just to go around clawing people up and shit like that. So I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. He probably branded himself because he's now done this thing, but he also like let witches into his head, and a whole bunch of other shit happened. And he's just like,
dude, that whole fight scene with like the witches and stuff. I was curious to when we got the point of view from Osha when she just came across all the witches just dead. I was like, there's no way the fire killed all of them just like that. I was right. It wasn't the fire that killed them.
It was dumber. It was like they've poured their it took like an entire coven of witches to overtake a Wookiee's mind. I'm like, holy shit, this
a Wookiee Jedi. So that's like plus 10 to fortitude.
Yeah. And you're just
so
like, this is
so that was one of the things I saw. That and someone made like the realization that the reason why he just exiled himself is because they took control of his mind and made him do all that horrible stuff to Master Soul and Tobin. That he just didn't want to hurt anyone else, so that's one of the reasons why he just kept to himself.
Yeah, it's like he just didn't want to like hurt anyone else. And I'm like, I get it. I can get behind that as a character motivation, especially for a Jedi character. I'm like, I like that. I like the warrior who goes into exile because they did a thing they have great shame in. I like that trope. But apparently the internet's like, no, this is the worst episode ever. And I'm like, it's literally because it's all the.
Did they even see the same episode we did? It was
half the time I'm like, what the fuck are you watching? Are you watching the same thing I am? Are you guys like, or are you guys just like determined to hate the thing that like no matter what it was, you would have hated it. It could have told any story whatsoever in any way, and you still would have hated it because you're just really, really want to hate it. Because that's the impression I get from a lot of them. I'm like, because there's different ones where like people have reactions to episodes where they're like, oh, that was great, that was cool. I'm like, okay. And then I'll see another guy react to it being like, that was the worst Star Wars I've ever seen. And then it will be the next episode, and he's like, this is the worst Star Wars I've ever seen. And then the next episode, the same like repeats, and I'm like, bro, there's got to be different opinions. Like
why are you still watching it?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Why are you still watching it? And when they're like, dude, it's got terrible writing. I'm like, okay, what makes the writing bad? It's just bad. I'm like, motherfucker, you have to be able to at least explain why it's bad. You can't just say it's bad as like a general catch-all if you can't explain why it's bad. Where if you can kind of go, I don't like this. This is going badly. I don't like I don't like how they're portraying the Jedi as like the bad guys, right? And
that God.
Not like this is what I'm saying is this is my example of more legitimate criticism where it's going. I don't like the way they've portrayed the Jedi in this because it doesn't feel like the way they should be portrayed given the way they talked about in, say, the original trilogy where it's told the protectors of peace and justice for over 1,000 generations, right? Those are Obi-Wan's words in episode 4. And I don't like, well, theoretically, I'm not saying me personally, but I don't like the fact that they also keep then taking the stance of, oh, but the Jedi failed, so every single time they turn up, they actually kind of just not doing the thing that they were kind of fabled to have done, going off the description Obi-Wan gave them. They just kind of like, this always the failed one. They're always making mistakes, but they're like making tragic fucking mistakes that will see the rise of the dark side.
We can tie this. Yeah, we can tie this to what happens with Soul and Osha and May's mom. So there's like a scene that happens where they're talking with Osha's mom and moms, Soul and Tobin, and Soul sees Osha's mom like turn into black smoke, and maybe
like she summons her power. Like she summons her power to try and. I think she was going to save Osha because May. It is revealed that May accidentally started the fire that that trapped
it wasn't
Osha.
Intentional.
It wasn't intentional, but Osha's perception came from the fact that
she was stuck in the room and she sees like what happens from outside the window of the door. Yeah. But going back to the scene I'm talking about, when I look back at it, like it was really, really creepy. Like the mom just like turns into black smoke. The kid just starts like fading away, and Soul thinks like something's happening to the kid, and like just murks her right there to stop her from supposedly hurting the kid. And then it's revealed like, oh, I would have let Osha go with you because that's what she wanted.
Yeah, she was just gonna go and try and save Osha, but I get Soul's reaction because early in the episode the mother had like played with Tobin's mind and like gotten into his head. And the other mom witch, the Zabrak, she'd been like pushing this thing that made everything feel more like there's this assault that has to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where she's like making everything
more confrontational.
Yeah, and that's part of it. But you also see Soul's like almost instant regret.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't undo this, but I didn't do it on purpose. I wasn't like trying to. I reacted on instinct because I saw something that made. The way I was trained, it made me really uncomfortable. It's kind of like a soldier reacting to...
Like in the moment.
A perceived threat in a moment. Even if it's not a threat, it's kind of that react instantly and then go, oh, fuck.
Dude, if I was in Soul's position, I probably would have done the same thing. Because if I see like a lady like turn into like black smoke and like the kid like slowly fading away like ash, like I would... most definitely take her out.
Panic and be like, it's like panic to try and save, but it's like the way her magic works would have like moved shit, and you're like, but it's also like it comes from a place of they don't understand how the magic works, and then they panicked.
We do get a reference to like the Night Sisters in the beginning. They think they're Night Sisters, so it's confirmed at this point in the timeline that Night Sisters do exist, but they just call these people witches. So I'm guessing there's like a difference between the Night Sisters and witches.
There are different types of witches, because if you go watch Tales of the Empire, you also see a different clan of witches on Dathomir who aren't Night Sisters. Their magic, like you see their magic works differently. Like in this, you kind of saw like a white light, like a black light or black aura when they start using their magic, right? Like they dissolve into blackness. In Tales of the Empire, you see witches that create like an ethereal glow and they like radiate energy out, but it's like white energy instead of dark energy. So it's like, oh, okay, there are other witches, there are other ways to use this power. The Night Sisters way isn't the only way. So I'm like, it's understandable that things would work the way they did, and Saul would freak out, but you're also like watching and going, Saul, don't do it, no, man. Why'd you do it, man? You didn't have to do it, man.
And he feels like so much grief after that. Like,
you can also see the guilt, and you can,
the guilt.
Even
I don't remember the wife's name, But the alien, what you said, Zabrak, right?
So she's the same species as Darth Maul.
Oh, okay. So the Zabrak lady, she starts attacking Saul, and he just like takes a couple hits to the face because he feels so guilty.
He
doesn't like fight back at all.
And I always find it fascinating when you see characters like that who's like, the whole thing just becomes them being very guilty, so they just take stuff. I mean, it's a fairly common trope, but I also like the fact that he doesn't fight back anymore. He kind of...
The only time he, like, quote-unquote fights back is when he, like, uses his lightsaber to disarm, like, the weapon she has to, like, get rid of, like, the sharp
cuts
tip.
It in half. Yeah, he basically just removes her blade.
And then she just, like, goes ghost and, like, goes away.
Yeah.
Do we know what happens to her?
No.
Does she survive? Because all the other witches die because they because the Indara like breaks the hold on Kel'Laka, and it kills the other witches.
Yeah, I still kind of dig that. That's how they did things. I'm like, I can get behind that. I quite like that this is how they chose to do things.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that whole fight scene with Kel'Laka and Tobin and Saul was like... Now I can see like why a Jedi Wookiee would be so terrifying. Like the sound design, like whenever he's like running towards him and the footsteps are so heavy. Oh god,
dude, it's so good.
It really freaked me out.
I thought it was so fucking good. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
That's why that saying, let the Wookiee win, is like a popular saying.
I mean, you also do see bits of that in like canon with like Chewie just being like, oh no, fuck, you there's a thing in Solo where you see Chewie literally rip a dude's arms. Wait, no, sorry, it was in episode 7, there's a deleted scene with Unkar Plot, so the guy who Rey was in service to, I believe. Chewie just straight up rips his arms off. Like, the deleted scene, Chewbacca, not a Wookiee Jedi, like just straight up normal Wookiee, rips a dude's arms off. And it doesn't look like it takes him much effort. He just goes and just, like, rips him and shouts at the guy. And you're like, this is why you don't fuck with the Wookiee.
Yeah, great. But in those, I don't get, like, the sense of, like, fear and dread as I felt in this episode with, like, how, like, the sound design was. Because he's absolutely, like, manhandling these two. Granted, Saul and Tobin don't want to, like, kill him. But he's, like... throwing them around like Saul like tries fist fighting him. He just takes the hits and just like throws them around.
Yeah, no, it's
brutal. Like crazy.
I love how it's just like, oh, you can't do shit. It's a Wookiee.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna do against a Wookiee that can just pick you up and
let alone like a regular Wookiee, but it has to be a Wookiee Jedi, which in my opinion would be like 10 times stronger than a normal Wookiee.
Oh, 100%.
Oh man, that was like one of the standout moments for me. Let's see what else. They talk about like the Vergence or like what do they call
So Vergence is like the way I understand the way they've described it is kind of like a nexus point.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of force that gathers around in one area that like generates a lot of life. It's like, and they also reference something happened in the first book of the High Republic like novel series, right? Where they're like the Great Hyperspace Disaster, right? Which is basically a starship that I believe it was a refugee ship that got into a crash with another ship, and that crash. But it happened in hyperspace. But the result. Oh,
so like a holdo maneuver like times 100, I guess.
Not quite. So it was a bit worse than that. So a holdo maneuver would be you intentionally ramming something with your ship, right? Mm-hmm. So this is also in the instant you're going into hyperspace is what a holdo maneuver is. What happened with this was they were already in hyperspace when they got into a collision with another ship. Like they collided with the ship while both ships were in hyperspace, and as such, it didn't have the correct way to decelerate out, so it just kind of flung shit out of hyperspace, and it like covered half the galaxy. It was just like, fuck off, and it just hoid shit throughout the entire galaxy. So like there was a swath of galaxy with just stuff coming out at near light speed, ramming planets and like knocking them off orbit and shit. It was brutal. There was a thing where the Jedi did this fucking massive force connect trick where like the entire order had to work together to stop some of the pieces from ramming planets that still had living beings on the pieces. So like people who were still survivors of the crash just coming out of hyperspace.
Damn.
And they had to like catch these things. It was the book is very good. It's really well described.
Damn, so that would make them being on the planet, just looking, like, getting samples and stuff, make so much more sense if that actually happened to this planet with the hyperspace disaster.
Yeah.
So they go into it where they take the M samples, which is like midichlorians, obviously, and they realize that they have the same midichlorian
the identical
like signature or
counts.
something or pattern.
It's the same midichlorian count, but they also have a symbionts, which is they have the same same connection to the Force. They both feel it to the same degree. And
Indara says like, "Oh, that's because they're twins," and then Tobin's like,
"Tobin, it's the other way around." Tobin says it's because they're twins, and Indara corrects him and says, "Yeah, but even twins don't have identical symbionts," which these two do apparently. Which I'm like, what the fuck have they been doing with the Force? Where they've just been generating people, they've been splitting people in half, and yeah, there's a lot of weird sus shit that they're implying here. Also,
I mean, with the Force and it being magic, it doesn't really fall out of like the realm of possibility, at least for me.
No, me neither. But there's a lot of people like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, the Sith did it. They fucking did it in the Plagueis book. Anyway, give me one sec. I need to run to the bathroom, so I'm going on a short break. I will be right back. This will probably be cut, but still.
See you guys in a bit. So you mentioned you mentioned that the Sith have made artificial people before?
Well, they've tried. So within the Legends lore, it's not necessarily the canon lore, but Plagueis did try. That's kind of how Anakin was created, as a retaliation by the Force. They didn't create him themselves. They try to create they try to use the midichlorians to just create life themselves, right? And when they did that, the Force kind of retaliated by creating Anakin, where they didn't see him. They just felt a giant disturbance in the Force, and then 9 years later, Anakin turned up, and they were like, "Fuck, what have we done?" And then Palpatine murdered Plagueis, and a lot of shit happened. Fun fact: in the original timeline, Plagueis was alive during Episode 1, and Palpatine murdered him when he became the nominee for Chancellor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
Plagueis was like around.
He just popped over to his planet, killed him, and just like came back.
Oh no, Plagueis was on Coruscant. He was on Coruscant the whole fucking time.
Wait, so when it comes to Plagueis, is Plagueis an alien or is he like a human?
He's a Mun. So
he's a what?
A Mun. You're gonna have to look up the Mun. He's from the planet Munilist, which is kind of a banking planet. He was a banker. That was his cover. He was a fucking banker.
Oh, one of those ones. Those guys.
They're like tall with like long heads.
That's not what the Grand Inquisitor was, right?
No. He was Utapoan.
I think I remember seeing one of these moon guys in I think one of the episodes of the Clone Wars, the animated show.
Yeah, you would have. They had a whole arc where Padme went to their planet because they were doing some dodgy banking shit, and then they're also in Episode 2. You see one of them in Episode 2 talking to Count Dooku. They appear a few times.
Okay. So he was a moon.
Yeah.
Muun.
Yeah. Look it up.
I'm looking at it on my phone right now.
He's a Muun. They were a really weird species, dude.
Darth Plagueis the Wise. Do you think they'll ever like make a thing talking about Plagueis? Like a show or like an animated thing?
If they do Tales of the Sith, they'll probably show him because he is like a big fan favorite character that a lot of people want to turn up, but he probably won't look the way everyone wants or expects him to be because he's going to be a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I will say this. I don't like Disney, and I hate them on general principle of they're a giant corporation, right? And I don't like a lot of the Star Wars projects. Like the sequel trilogy was badly handled.
It was great. What do you mean it was bad? It was great. It was the greatest.
Yes, I forget. You're weak to mid storytelling.
I just say it to mess with you.
I know, but that's why I react with tired exasperation.
I think I'm like one of the few people that kind of like The Last Jedi with how they took Luke's character.
I was fine with The Last Jedi. The problem is Rise of Skywalker. I get what they were going for. There's a few things I think they should have done differently for Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Rise of Skywalker I despise, but Last Jedi I personally believe it should have been Obi-Wan, Luke, or Anakin who like appeared to him, and there should have been a bunch of things where they they just had weird choices, and then they also disregarded Finn, which is one thing that I still
yeah, dude. They were setting up Finn to be like a fucking Jedi, man, but they just like completely scrapped that last minute.
They were like, you know what, we'll do this thing with Rey, but they didn't do it in a very interesting way. So I don't like it.
I hate how they just like sidelined Finn for the last like 2 movies.
Yeah.
They really could have done so much more with this character. I like Finn, but he was like a maybe like a 7. They could have made him like a 9 or something in terms of story and character.
He was over. They just dished him for some reason.
It was interesting to see Stormtrooper turned good, like that whole concept, but they didn't really like lean into it too much outside of the first movie.
I think it would have been cooler if they had, like, if they hardcore leaned into it. I think it would have been a way more interesting story. Like a Stormtrooper who went Jedi, that's a fucking cool idea, and they just abandoned it for no fucking reason. They were like, yeah, no, we're gonna do this kind of more generic version of the story with this weird will they won't they thing and this. I'm like,
one thing they could have done was maybe make Finn go back and like try to convert some other stormtroopers, because a lot of them were just taken as kids and they're just like indoctrinated into the First Order. Yeah. And if he was able to break free of like the programming, then maybe like some other ones could, which is what they did in like the last movie with on that planet that had a lot of ex-stormtroopers that just like broke off. But they could have done Finn a lot better.
Yeah, I still think there's a bunch of things they should have done for Finn that they just didn't for like no reason, and it's very annoying.
Yeah. Look at the stream right now.
Bruh.
Looking through my 15-year-old's brother's YouTube history filled with alt-right content creators, and it's the scene where Luke is looking through Kylo Ren's mind and decides to kill him.
It's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm like,
and then when someone said, honestly, yeah, when you put it like that, then it totally makes sense why Luke would even think about killing his nephew in his sleep, given he was chugging down the pipeline to space Nazism. And someone replied to that and said, my nephew is going to become Hitler and kill all my friends and family. Maybe I should kill him first. It's pretty valid.
Yeah, that seems pretty valid to me. I don't know.
When you look at it like that, man, it makes so much sense.
That just reminds me of fucking back to the Acolyte and that episode. So the episode with the duel and everyone dying, right?
Yeah.
Spoilers. If you didn't know, a lot of people get fucking murked in episode 5 of the Acolyte. But like, bro, there was a moment with Saul holding his lightsaber to dude's throat. Yeah. And I was like, just fucking end him. This will save you so much goddamn trouble. End him. Take his head off. Saul, just twitch your lightsaber. Come on. And then Osha's like, but Saul, stop. And I was like,
the Jedi
God damn it.
The Jedi don't attack the unarmed. Remember?
I was like, dude, you went through a whole fucking fight. You won the fight. This is you winning the fight. You get to behead the fucker who killed your Padawan, your friend, and like just random people around you. You get to murk him after a fucking fight. He put up a fight. You won. This is you winning. You get to behead him when you win. That is how winning works, you dumb fucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on an entire rant on that, but like, fuck, it annoyed me. I was so angry. I had to stop watching for a second when he started. I was like, I paused it. I was like, fuck's sakes, dude, just fucking kill him.
But if he did, the show would be over too soon. Remember?
We still have the flashbacks.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine. We wouldn't have had so many people thirsting after Quimera an episode later.
Yeah. I still think it kind of ties alongside to the Jedi and their hubris is what caused their downfall. Because if they didn't really hold so closely to their beliefs and stuff, then it would have been over right then and there. If they've just been a little bit more open-minded and didn't do the things they did, maybe things would have been different. Like I'm reminded of Yoda talking to Anakin about like the dreams he's been having about like Padme dying, and like is like, oh yeah, just let them die, or don't be too attached to them.
You must just let go. Yeah, but the problem, I always saw the problem with that scene being, Yoda doesn't know the fucking context, right? Because Anakin's being like very cagey about the actual context. So he's like, so Yoda's trying to give him advice for, they're in a fucking war, right? And because Anakin doesn't give Yoda all the information, Yoda's probably thinking, okay, Anakin's panicking because like maybe Rex is gonna die or Ahsoka's gonna die. You know, they're in a fucking war. So he's trying to be like, you're in a war. And he's trying to like coach him to be like, you can't be too attached because we're fighting a war and you need to let go, right? It's all about context. Advice like that, when it comes to shit like that, you need context. Anakin needed to tell him it's like his fucking wife. So it's not someone on the front lines because he's being fucking vague and shit. If he wants advice from Yoda, he can't give him it. He can't ask him like that. You can't ask for advice when you think someone's going to die because you're having force visions on someone you love and you're like married to or whatever. You've made this commitment to them, right? You can't ask for advice.
Was that whole thing?
Ask shit.
I'm curious. Was that before or after Padme told Anakin that she was pregnant?
After.
Oh, okay. Then he's like extra freaking out.
Yeah, and I'm like, they didn't tell him shit. They didn't tell him shit. He didn't ask Yoda properly. He didn't ask Yoda in a way where Yoda could actually give him fucking meaningful advice.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to hide all this shit. So I'm like, it's quite hard for someone to give you meaningful advice if you're giving them half the information they need to give you meaningful fucking advice. It just ends in disaster because no one knows what the fuck is going on and you don't tell anyone shit. So it's partially on Anakin and partially on Anakin's stupid fucking choices.
Okay, going back to Acolyte, one thing that I really liked was when the mom used her magic on Tobin and like went inside his mind and just like screwed with him so much. That whole sequence when it was just in his mind and everything was all dark, and she was like, you don't want to be here, you want to go home, right? And he's like, yes, I want to go home to Coruscant.
That seems valid.
And then, man, he was really torn up about what happened on the planet because he just like took, what is it, like a 3-year vow of silence, or like ever since then he's just like, he hasn't talked to anyone and he's just been in a forced meditation thing this whole time. And then Konaka went into hiding, and then Sol. Oh right, at the end, Sol chose Osha instead of May. What did you think about that decision to let May fall?
I don't know. I think he made a snap choice where he had to pick one. And as far as I can tell, he couldn't tell the difference, and he had to just pick one of them because it's one or the other, and he's holding up heavy fucking things. So he's trying to save them, and he's going, I can't hold these up. I need to save I want to say both. I can only say one. I think he just picked at random. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know.
Convinced he picked at random.
I think that he picked OSHA on purpose because during the whole episode that it's made apparent that he wants his own Padawan, and he felt like a special attachment to OSHA, especially in the test, and like they talk about it in like the beginning. In the beginning of the episode, when they're via Indara and Soul, like they're talking about Tobin, and Soul wants his own Padawan to teach.
The reason I don't think he chose on purpose is because there's a scene when May comes out, right? When she runs out to tell her mom that she set a fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Soul looks at her and he just goes, OSHA. So I'm convinced he can't tell them apart from a distance.
One has a tattoo and one doesn't, right?
Yeah, but they also have fringes that cover that tattoo.
Yeah.
And from a distance, you can't see it. So I think he genuinely thought it was OSHA, and he picked utterly at random. He was just like, I need to save one of them. And he picked without, like, forcing a choice in either direction.
I'm pretty sure they'll get into it in the next episode, because I'm pretty sure this whole like flashback is just Soul telling May on the ship while he has her tied down what actually happened. It's just explaining to us in like a episode format.
Also, I just saw a clip where it's like where someone's like, I'm pretty sure Soul said shit just before Kalnaka attacked, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can fucking hear it.
Yeah, there was one part of the fight where he does like a
watch
jump.
Watch this.
Okay.
Let me show you. Watch. I can fucking hear it. It's so funny. There it is.
Hold on, let me pull it up and then turn it up. Yeah, it kind of does sound like it.
He's definitely going, shit. We have to now fight a fucking Wookiee. Ah, shit.
But there is a part in the fight where like Soul does like a jump in the air, and it's like if he was aiming to kill Kalnaka, he would have like taken his head off right there. But he like she uses his lightsaber and just hits him a couple times in the head, which doesn't do anything.
He does manage to disarm him though.
Yeah, and then it's just a hand-on-hand fight with a Wookiee Jedi.
Pretty much, which is also a disastrous choice.
Yeah.
But like, at that point, what do? You have to try and fight this fucking Wookiee so it doesn't murder everyone. You're like,
And we also find out that Kalnaka is the one that gave Tobin the scars on his face.
Yeah. And blinded him.
Wait, he blinded him in one eye? I don't remember that.
Yeah. He was blind in one eye. When you see him as like a master, he's blind in one eye.
Ah, okay. Just do some force healing. That'll heal that right up. Just like when Rey healed that snake. That sand snake.
Right.
What else? Trying to remember parts of the Acolyte that weren't talking about. Do you have anything else from the episode? Because I can't think of anything.
Nothing that comes to mind straight away. I mean, I might, if I do, it'll probably be like on my fucking TikToks, and I'll be ranting about dumb shit. But it's usually going to be about the fans and the fact that Star Wars Theory is like, oh, they made a bridge, and the fact that, you know, Saul doesn't grab both of them with the Force.
Yeah, like, I was like wondering why he doesn't just pick them up with the Force and just like carry and just like make them levitate towards him.
The way I see it is he didn't want to scare them because they've also been witches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they do show earlier that he saw that they can like repulse the Force. So I imagine if he tried to grab them, there's also the possibility they would just try and push him away just on instinct and then get themselves both killed, right? So him trying to save them by grabbing stuff like the fucking... He's like grabbing the bridge that they're on, like it breaks, and he's holding it up. I'm like, that makes more sense to me because he's trying really hard not to scare these kids. And then by the time like he can't hold on anymore and he drops them, he's a bit too tired and he's also panicked to try and catch 2 people at once.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I can see a lot of reasons why he wouldn't be able to just straight up be like, force grab, it's easy. It's like, force doesn't work like that. If it did, then too many things in Star Wars would just be, they did a thing with the force. And then it would be a lot more boring. Like, because there's a bunch of things that, like, are like, oh yeah, but why didn't this character do this with the force in all of the movies?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't Obi-Wan just, like,
why didn't
with the force? Why didn't
Vader
like,
just, like, pick Luke back up when he fell in the pit?
Yeah, exactly. Why didn't you just grab him when he jumped off in episode 5? No, but he jumps to grab a kid in the Acolyte, and it's a problem.
One thing that I just remembered, when they're talking about the M test, maybe they, I think Indara says they managed to split the consciousness into 2 bodies, which kind of lends to the fact that Osha was able to sense May, or like sense that she was still alive, or she was there and she had like visions of her.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe they'll like merge into one person at the end of the show, or maybe they'll just both die or something.
I mean, I think that's what the Ascension thing was all about, is they would merge once they both had a tattoo.
Yeah, they go into what the Ascension was. Like, they're asking, I think, either May or Osha about it, but they don't know a lot about it in general. But why couldn't they just make one kid instead of making 2 and then and have them merge?
Yeah, I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Like, there's probably an actual reason within the lore, but we just haven't got it yet.
You know, maybe more that I think about it, maybe if they did just like one kid with the Force, there'd be like a disturbance in the Force that would cause the Jedi to come looking. So maybe in order to like hide where they were, they'd had to do it between the 2 kids.
It's also possible they weren't even trying to hide from the Jedi, because remember, the Jedi found them by mistake and were like, we should just leave these guys alone. We don't need to follow them.
Yeah.
So it's like,
No, but the reason they were on the planet was because the planet was the planet was surprisingly like filled with life. So they had thought that there was like a vergence of the Force there that was bringing like life to the planet, and they just found the people there.
But they found them by mistake. They weren't like searching for the people. They were like trying to figure out why there's so much life on the planet, but without like thinking, there's people making this shit happen. They were like, oh shit, we have found people who, oh no, and then disaster.
It could be that they dipped into the vergence to create the kids. Maybe that's one thing they did. I could have sworn they talked about that in the episode as well.
They did a bit, but it's not specific what happened. They like allude to a lot of things.
I think that's it for that discussion on the Acolyte.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the boys?
Might as well do the boys. Hey boys, hey! It looks like Butch is dead.
Yeah, it looks like he's dead or he's just passed out at the end. Because Kessler smiles. I was half expecting like him to take over and start killing all like the people that were there at the bar. So before the podcast started, we watched the episode of The Boys. It was really crazy.
It was certainly something.
I think like in the beginning of the episode, they're talking about how Coleman died from the flu vaccine.
Oh yeah, this is one should like dumb shit. I'm like,
that was the funny
vaccine. He got beaten to fucking death. What? The
shit? And they just hand wave it, and then Firecracker's the one that says it. So it's like they really lean into like the vaccine bad. Like
I do like how
Trump
how
rhetoric.
Stupid they made Fire. Although it's quite funny because they made Firecracker look like a fucking idiot this episode as well.
Yeah.
And Homelander, like, where like they got rid of Sage, but it's like Sage was actually doing shit that was.
She was playing the long game.
he was playing a long game, and everyone else got impatient, and they were like, "Oh, but we want it," and they didn't see it. They were too fucking stupid to see it. They were too fucking dumb.
So I think like one of the MVPs was the Deep.
Oh yeah, and getting the shit kicked out of his head.
Yeah, getting the shit beat out of him, and the whole thing with his octopus. I forgot the name of her though.
Oh yeah.
Formosa, I think. But that whole thing with her dying was like really sad. I really liked her. She was played by Tilda Swinton.
That makes sense. Half the lines were so fucking funny though.
Yeah.
Bro, she's like, "You made me come." I'm like, "It's a fucking octopus. What the fuck were you doing with an octopus? I didn't even know they were capable of that shit."
I mean, maybe. Could be.
Actually, Google it quick. I need to know.
Okay.
Are octopuses capable of sexually orgasming? Are octopuses capable of orgasm? Because a lot of like,
how octopuses have sex? It's really weird. Let's see. I had to create an account. Fuck off. No.
On?
Let's just say that they can.
It's like, let's just hand wave and be like, yeah, they can. They can.
Oh, it's Ambrosius. That's her name.
Ambrosius.
Yeah. I even brought it up when we were watching it. Like, it was sad that the Deep was treating her like this. And you guys were just like, "Oh, she's just an octopus."
That's true. He was supposed to have killed her ages ago, though.
No, hold on. No, whatever. I honestly thought Deep was just gonna come out into his room, see like her dead in like the tank because how he wasn't really keeping up with it. Like there was algae and stuff in it. But I really liked her. She was like she liked the Deep for who he was.
Yeah, but the Deep's an idiot.
Yeah, but he's like really, really interesting when it comes to like how he interacts with like the fish and stuff. Like in the previous seasons, we see him trying to break a dolphin out of basically SeaWorld.
Oh yeah, in season 1.
Yeah, but
like,
before he gets hit by the truck.
And then he fucks like a whale's blowhole and some shit. It's so stupid.
Does he? I don't think so.
I swear he does. It might have been in the comics though. Or I might have Mandela affected myself and thought the Deep did that because he's the Deep.
Yeah. But if
seems like it's on brand, given he was fucking an octopus.
If you guys don't know, the soups are artificially made when moms are in like having the kid. They just inject the kid with Compound V, and they grow up with superpowers. And I think the season before this one, the Deep is like having like a what is it, a double A meeting? What is it, like the Alcoholics Anonymous thing, but with like superheroes, or I think it has to do with like the church that he was in like one season. He mentioned like when he was a kid, he'd go to like the superstores, and he'd hear like all the fish like screaming for help, like the crabs and like the crawfish and stuff, and he thought he was going crazy. But when it came out that the soups were created, he understood why, because they gave him Compound V when he was a baby. And it kind of screwed him up, and that's one of the reasons why he is the way he is. And he really kind of like did a character de-evolution this season, out of like the whole like I'm a superior being.
He
I'm
really
better,
has evolved.
Yeah, I'm better than like the humans and stuff like that.
He's lost all the like humanity he was gaining and like stripped it away from himself. The Deep's so dumb.
Yeah, he was always he was just a dude, bro. But he really did care about the sea life. But now he just doesn't really care about them anymore.
Yeah, now he's just like.
Like he even says to Homelander, "I'll kill the whole ocean if I have to."
It's like he's losing what he was just for reasons. Like, I don't know. Although it was funny him and Noir trying to kill.
Yeah,
trying to kill the boys and just fucking failing.
Yeah, and I think before that, like during the fight, I was telling you guys that the Deep like should be like one of like the most durable, because he's like swam in the Marianas Trench and like the pressure and everything. So he might even be like on par with Homelander, like terms of durability, I think. And I said like he's basically just like Aquaman.
There's also the thing that Homelander did. Sorry, speaking of Homelander, the thing he did to Webweaver, where I'm like,
yeah, he just tore him in half.
And I'm like, but why though?
Well, because he thought he was the leak, and he was a leak, but he wasn't the leak that they were looking for. Because he like Webweaver told him like, oh, Butcher comes to me, I tell him what he wants to know, and like he just like gets murked by Homelander in front of Firecracker, and Firecracker's like all mortified and stuff. And what did you think was gonna happen?
I feel like Firecracker doesn't really get Homelander or what he is.
Yeah.
At all. She's got this like weird image of him in her head, and it's the wrong image.
Dude, and it was really funny when in the beginning of the season he brought what was it? He brought Sage into the Seventh because she was smart and she wouldn't like kiss his ass and stuff. And now he just fires her and just surrounds himself with people like Firecracker and Deep and all this stuff.
It's because of that thing that happened where the politicians made him feel dumb.
Yeah, because he didn't know shit about the politics. And she just got shot in the head and her brain was still regenerating.
It's so funny though. It's like, oh, it's not even her fault in that case.
Yeah.
But like,
I get the feeling that she's gonna come back and work with Butcher to try to kill Homelander. And it's also revealed that she's been fucking Noir and Deep. But with Deep, she didn't, with Noir, she didn't get the...
she didn't, like, lobotomize herself.
Yeah, she didn't lobotomize herself with Noir. Well, with Deep, she did. It's so fucking
funny.
And this happens, like, right after Ambrosius, like, dies. Quote-unquote dies. And it's sad because her last words was, I love you. And she was speaking all this truth too. She was like saying like she was just using him, and she doesn't even think that he's like all that smart, and she's just lying to him all this stuff. One thing about the episode that really got me was when and I think it was in the beginning of the episode they're looking for a shooter, and it turns out the shooter is a shapeshifter. And how they shapeshift is they touch someone, and they just like tear off their skin, and like the skin.
They shed their skin like a lizard.
Yeah, they shed their skin like a lizard. And they even have like the same like the sideways eye blinking thing that lizards do, which tells us at the end where Starlight, after there's the scene at the bar where she takes like a selfie with a fan, where the fan was the shapeshifter, and they kidnapped Starlight, and then the shapeshifter took Starlight's place and had sex with Huey at the end, and took the laptop that had all the evidence on it. Which I don't think that's all the evidence. I'm pretty sure they must have like backed it up somehow, somewhere, just in case. They would have to. Well, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was pretty good. The ending, though.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god.
And I even called it too.
It's like a gratuitous fucking sex scene with Huey, and then it's just like, it's a shapeshifter that you fucking called it. And we're like,
yeah, I called it because earlier in the episode they make an issue about Huey keeping Starlight's old outfit, and and Annie's like, no, I don't want that. Take it, like throw it out, and he does. And then suddenly she's like wearing the outfit, and I'm like, oh, there's no way that she would wear that outfit. She was like so adamantly against it, like this whole season. It has to be like the shapeshifter. And like,
no, I agree.
And like after like the sex scene, I was like, what if like Annie just comes in and she's like standing in like the door, and she's like, Huey, what the fuck?
I kept thinking that was what was gonna happen, and then it didn't. I was like, why? And then it's like, oh, she got drugged.
But then after the sex scene, she gets up from bed and goes to open up the safe, and I'm like, wait, how if that is the shapeshifter, how would she know the password to open up the safe? And she just walks towards the camera, and her eyes do the lizard blinking thing, and like, oh shit, it is, which makes me think the shapeshifter is able to get like the memories just from touching them, which is crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty sick though. Useful as a shapeshifter though.
Mm-hmm. You have anything else you want to talk about the episode? I think it was pretty straightforward.
I think that was pretty straightforward too.
Oh, I think Ryan is in his redemption after the last episode.
Oh yeah, he's sliding towards being like, fuck that, I want to go back to
Butcher. Because there's this whole thing, this puppet show, where they're singing about Antifa and like ratting out like your family if they're against like the superheroes and stuff, and then Ryan like stops a live broadcast and stuff and says like, this whole thing is dumb. My mom wouldn't want me to do this, and the truth is, he doesn't tell the truth about what actually happened because he was there at the Red Wing party at the last episode. He just leaves.
No, that's true. He's just like, fuck this shit, I am out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's valid.
Yeah, it was a good episode. We're already on like episode 7 or like 6 of The Boys. And I can't wait for the next one, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm hyped for the next one.
Yeah. I think I can go ahead and get one last thing of news regarding Xbox.
Yeah?
They're changing the way they price their Game Pass.
Shit.
Yeah. I can go ahead and just pull the article out.
What's the PC change? That actually will affect me though.
So the Game Pass Ultimate will rise from $17 to $20 per month in the US. PC Game Pass will increase from $10 to $12 per month. Additionally, a year of Xbox Core, formerly Xbox Live Gold, will go from $60 to $75. And the $10 monthly option remains unchanged. The article says new subscribers will see these changes starting July 10th, while existing users will notice them from September 12th. And I saw on someone create like a handy little graph that I'm showing AC right now that I'll explain to you. So Game Pass Core, which is $9.99 a month or $74.99 a year, will get online multiplayer, a limited catalog of 25 plus games on console, and member deals and discounts. While Game Pass Standard, which is $14.99 a month, will get the same things as the Game Pass Core, as well as the Game Pass catalog, which is hundreds of games. Game Pass Ultimate gets the same ones as the first two, as well as Day 1 game editions, perks and discounts on games in the Game Pass library, EA Play and Write games, and Xbox Cloud Gaming, while the PC Game Pass will have access to the members' deal and discounts at $11.99 a month. Game Pass
the free games.
Yeah, Game Pass catalog.
Oh, okay.
Day 1 game editions, perks and discounts on games in the Game Pass library, and EA Play and Write games.
Wait, so that means, does it lose the unlimited catalog? Oh,
yeah, it's still gonna, but only the PC library, it looks like. So the games that
Yeah,
are
it's
compatible with the PC.
I mean, that's the only ones I was playing anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was like, am I going to lose my Yakuza access? Oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I think you'll still be good. It looks like you're going to keep the online console multiplayer, but you're just going to lose the Xbox Cloud Gaming and the limited catalog. I just hope the Yakuza game isn't part of the limited catalog.
Hopefully not.
It
probably isn't.
And I'll let you know that the graph was made by @Clobrill on Twitter. One last bit of news. Issue 7 of the TF2 comic is coming out. It's been 7 years since the last comic came out. It's got a script together and a first page. The first page was basically just like a bunch of skeletons in the desert and vultures picking at the bones. I really like TF2 and the comics because they expand on the story that's been hinted at in the TF2 world in the game.
The TF2 story though is incredibly stupid.
Yeah, really stupid. You've been reading the comics, or have you read them?
I've read the comics and I've watched some of the like shorts that the TF2, the like official TF2.
Yeah, like the animated stuff. Yeah.
Yes, which includes buckets.
It is.
This is a bucket.
Dear God, no.
But wait, there's more.
No.
Dear God. It's such a stupid fucking joke. But I love it.
So one thing I wanted to discuss with you before we end this podcast. So next week I was thinking that we can go ahead and try live streaming an episode of the podcast.
Yeah, we can go for it. We're gonna do it direct.
I'm against making a whole new channel for it. Because it would have to start from 0 and we wouldn't get access to like the channel rewards and stuff like that. And some of the channel rewards that I've been thinking about doing, at least for like when it comes to the podcast, is have people spend channel points to ask questions like that will get read at the end of the podcast. So like after we're done like discussing all the news and like the stuff we've been watching and stuff. Also, I'm in contact with an artist right now, thinking about something to commission. I was thinking, for like the static image, it'd be me and you in like a room, with stuff in like the background that reflect our interests. So like yours would be like Star Wars focused.
Yeah.
And like the sign would be hanging. You like how do you feel about that? What do you think about that?
I'm keen. I'm game.
All right. I'll just get with the artist and then maybe set up like a group message. Then we can do. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode of the 288 Gamers podcast. Do you have anything to say before we go ahead and log off?
I think we're done for now.
Acolyte good, but it's woke, so don't watch it. Right? That's your.
Anyone who tells you that has no idea what they're talking about and tends to just be reactionary. So you can ignore anyone who calls it woke.
Yes,
they're
please do.
Generally pointless.
Think with your own brain and not someone else's, please.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Share it if you did. Leave a comment, like all that stuff. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Also, regarding the live streaming thing, I'm thinking just streaming it on my channel, which was Chris the Wiz TV. If you want, we can also do it on yours. We
might split it. So AC Skywalker 97 and Chris the Wiz, we will have both running on both channels. We'll be running it as like using one of the Twitch features, which I believe is called
a guest star.
Stream together.
Oh, is that a thing? I know guest star is a thing.
Yeah, we'll probably do stream together.
Yeah, we'll discuss it off podcast, but yeah, definitely. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you all have a good rest of your days. Bye. Have a good one.
Cheers. Peace.